We begin with news just in. 4 people have died in a horrific head-on collision on the N2 near Qumbu. We are now joined by spokesperson of the Eastern Cape Transport Department, Unathi Binqose, for more on this accident in the Eastern Cape. Unathi, thank you so much for your time this evening. I mean, we know, just looking at what transpired over the weekend, it's a Monday, another accident is, of course, occurred in the Eastern Cape.
It has not been a kind past couple of days for us in the province. So many head-on collisions and so many lives that have been lost. And yes, indeed, you're right. We have now lost a total of 4 lives from one crash that happened on the N2 near Qumbu. It is suspected that these may be members of the family. Even more than that, it is suspected that this may be a mother and her 3 children. It's a woman in her 40s, as well as children between the ages of 9 years and 5 years.
Unathi, do we know when this accident occurred and what could have been the cause of this accident?
The accident happened at around 4 o'clock, but we were still establishing some facts around it. It's the first time that we're breaking it to the news now. It's another head-on collision. As head-on collisions, we always say, they tell a story that one of the 2 drivers was on the wrong side of the road when the accident happened. And sadly, one was on the right side, may have been doing everything by the book, but unfortunately got dragged into an accident that had absolutely nothing to do with them. And here we are now talking about 4 people, 4 young lives that have been cut short abruptly in an accident that could have been avoided only if we had played by the rules. Of course, in the Eastern Cape, it has been wet and slippery in some parts with poor visibility. We do not know if those may have contributed to the accident. We won't discard anything. We will probe everything to get to the bottom of this. But it is really, really concerning that we are losing people at such an alarming rate in the province of the Eastern Cape.
And Unathi, when you tally up the numbers, I mean, I'm sure it's bringing you to over 90 people who've now passed away on the Eastern Cape roads. When you contrast that to this time last year, you know, how does these statistics look like for your province?
It's horrible. In the 6 years that I've worked for this department doing this very same work, never ever experienced anything remotely close to this. That is the honest truth. I was looking at Facebook memories from an interview I did with one of the media houses some 2 years ago, and in the caption at the bottom, they were telling us we were talking about 40 people who have died at that time. If we are indeed in the 90s now, it will mean that we have more than doubled that number. And one of the biggest problems is that the number of crashes has increased significantly, because we've always believed that if we can reduce the number of road crashes, then the number of fatalities will naturally take care of itself. But unfortunately, we have seen a lot of collisions, particularly head-on collisions. Unprecedented numbers of head-on collisions have occurred in this province. And head-on collisions, more than any other collision, are the deadliest of them all, because we're talking here about 2 vehicles that collide at a very, very high velocity, resulting into the death of the occupants, as is the case in this instance. I mean, the entire family has been wiped out. It is similar to what we saw in Grafrinet not so long ago, where all 6 occupants of an SUV perished when it collided head-on with a minibus taxi.
And Unathi, tomorrow indeed will be Christmas Eve. Many will be making their last-minute travels to their destinations. What is your message to the people of the Eastern Cape as you know, they continue on with their traveling destinations tomorrow?
In the many media engagements that we had earlier today, we knew that the next 48, which is probably now the next 24 hours, is going to be critical, because people are indeed making that final dash home ahead of Christmas. It may well have been the case for this family of 4. They must have been on their way home for the Christmas holidays, but here we are talking about their lives having been abruptly cut short in a manner like this. And those who may be watching at home thinking of making a similar dash home ahead of Christmas, we want to assure them that our roads are safe. The roads themselves are very, very safe. It is the people who are using the roads that are making those roads unsafe. So you've got a role to play as a road user to ensure that you play your role in ensuring the safety of these roads. The fact that we're seeing so many head-on collisions that are down to what we call human error, misjudging the distance and the velocity you need to overtake a car safely. We want people to just stick to the rules, be patient with one another. Do not overtake where it is not safe to do so. If you have double thoughts about it, then it means it's probably not even safe to do it. So do not even do it. Just ensure that you get home, even if you get after the time that you may have scheduled for yourself. As long as you get there, that's all we want. But we have ensured that we have deployed our rapid response teams, law enforcement officers, as well as emergency medical personnel, so that in events that accidents happen, and they are able to respond timelessly, and through that they have been able to save so many lives. Because if it was not for them, the picture would have been a lot worse than it already is now. So we are taking our hats off to them for the hard work that they have put in during this festive season. We know that it has not been easy for them having to face these gory accident scenes. We salute them for the work that they've put in, but we are urging you as a road user to also play your role and make their job even easier.
Unathi, thank you so much for your time. A horrific story coming out there once again from the Eastern Cape. 4 more people have lost their lives in a head-on collision. That is Unathi Binqose. He is the Eastern Cape Transport Department spokesperson.